It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. And now here's your host, Geno Jones.
It's the Monday after Mother's Day. I hope everybody had a happy Mother's Day and all the grandmas, and not just the mothers, but the grandmothers and mothers-to-be. It is time for the Geno Jones Show, my daily variety show live. Yes, I am live right here on YouTube, Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. in Chicago, 3:30 p.m. out on the West Coast. Please like, share, and subscribe. I got to say it again. I can't say it enough. Like, share, and subscribe. Please like. Please share this episode and all of my back episodes. Go back and binge watch all my back episodes and make sure you subscribe and tell everybody you know to subscribe to the Geno Jones Daily, I should say the Geno Jones YouTube channel, so you can watch the Geno Jones Show live, my daily variety show right here. All right? And if you missed the episode, don't worry. If you can't watch it in real time, go back and binge watch. And if you'd like to be a sponsor, if you'd like to advertise, if you would like for me to be the pitch man I'm being, since I'm, and I say this in all humility, the king of pitch man, all right, reach out to me right here. And I'll give you some more details. Leave me a message here on my YouTube channel. At the end of the show, I'll give you an email address where you can contact me. All right, listen, so we got some breaking news. The federal government has granted Pfizer emergency use authorization. So Pfizer now has the emergency use authorization to vaccinate anyone between teenagers between the ages of 12 and 15. So that announcement happened, I'd say maybe 2 hours ago, less than 2 hours ago. So now Pfizer has the emergency use authorization, or was granted the emergency use authorization by the federal government to give vaccines to teenagers 12 to 15 years. And then after they do that, they're still testing the vaccine on children. They're having trials for children between the ages of 6 and 12. And then once they approve that, once the government says that it's safe and effective for kids between the ages of 6 and 12, then they'll go ahead and do clinical studies and trials to see if it's safe for basically from like 6 months to 6 years, I believe. I just wanted to update you on that. So let's talk about this Mother's Day weekend. Big shout out to my ladies, SWV, Sisters with Voices, and my ladies, my sisters repping the ATL, Atlanta, Georgia, Xscape for their live verses. It was really a celebration. I know they call them versus battles, but they're really a celebration, and it was beautiful. So you had, because Xscape, they were on the So Def record label. So Jermaine Dupri, he was there representing, showing love and standing up and showing out for those ladies in Xscape. And of course, speaking of So Def Records, the first lady of So Def, my sister repping the 60644. We are talking about Da Brat. She was also there representing, showing love to her fellow Atlanteans, the ladies of Xscape. And SWV, Sisters with Voices, repping New York City. It was a beautiful thing. Their daughters came and gave them their Mother's Day gift, and as a really special Mother's Day gift, they sang with their mom. So shout out to Taj, Lily, and Coco, the ladies of SWV and Xscape. It was a great celebration. And if you didn't get a chance to see it, go back. I'm sure you can, somewhere on YouTube, you can just type in SWV versus Xscape, the versus battle. That was on the 8th, on May 8th, Saturday night, Mother's Day weekend. So I'm sure you can find it. Now, I hear, since we're talking about verses, I hear that Trina wants to battle Lil' Kim. Okay, all right. Listen, shout out to Trina, repping the 305, the MIA. Yes, you are bad. You know what? She had the album, I'm the baddest bitch. She is bad now. But now we're talking about the Queen Bee, Lil' Kim. Basically, Lil' Kim and Foxy Brown really kicked off this really grown and sexy, I don't give a damn, rough and raw kind of vibe and edge that the female rappers really kicked off. It was really Lil' Kim and Foxy Brown back in the 90s. Lil' Kim was rocking it with Junior Mafia and Biggie, Notorious B.I.G. And of course, Foxy Brown was kicking it, rocking it with Jay-Z and that crew. And then you had Trina, and eventually from Trina, then we got down to Nicki Minaj. Then from Nicki, of course, we got Cardi B. So I don't know. For me, I like to see Lil' Kim and Foxy Brown. Personally, that's my take. Now, rest in peace to Sister Millie Jackson, because nobody was more rough and raw as a woman than Miss Millie Jackson. She didn't rap, but she talked a whole lot of ish. She didn't give a damn. She told you what she was gonna do, where she was gonna do it, how many times she wanted you to do it, and how long she wanted it to be, and how big. Yeah, Millie just didn't. So for my real young folks, my Generation Z, if you're under 30, Google search Millie Jackson, R&B singer. Oh, yeah, Millie Jackson. Millie, it didn't get no rougher and raw than Millie. So really, from Millie Jackson, we went to Lil' Kim and Foxy Brown. And then, like I said, then we got Nicki Minaj, and then we got Cardi B. And right in there, we got to throw, of course, Trina. So we'll see what happens. But I say, yo, Kim, Miss Kimberly Jones, you and Foxy, do your thing. I'd like to see that. That would be some fire right there. All right, let's shift gears here. So I'm here in Charleston, South Carolina, and my congressman in the United States House of Representatives is a gentleman that I've had the honor and pleasure to meet several times. As a matter of fact, on my radio show, I had a chance to interview him on my radio show several years back. I'm talking about United States House of Representatives. I believe he is number 3 in leadership. Yes, he is number 3 in leadership in the United States House of Representatives, the Honorable James Clyburn, Congressman Clyburn, who I have mad respect for, really admire the man. But I gotta confess, I was really disturbed Sunday, surfing around. I believe Congressman Clyburn was on CNN, and he says something to the effect that he is willing to compromise not getting qualified immunity to pass the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. Congressman Clyburn, you absolutely know I have, like I said, the utmost respect for you. As a matter of fact, I called your office and spoke to a young man named Zach, reached out to his communications director, so I am hoping to get Congressman Clyburn on the show, hopefully this week, so he and I can have this conversation face to face. But Congressman Clyburn, without qualified immunity being, if you strip out qualified immunity, if you allow qualified immunity to exist, to continue, you don't have a George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. There is no Justice and Policing Act in honor of George Floyd. Without qualified immunity being basically repealed, you got to get rid of it. Absolutely have to. Listen, the Republicans, let's be honest, Congressman Clyburn, you have forgotten more about politics than I'll ever know. I'm the first one to admit it. But one thing I do know, that this iteration of what they call the Republican Party, which is the Trump MAGA cult, this iteration or version, they will vote against the bill even if you strip out the part of the bill that says that you're going to get rid of qualified immunity. So even if you allow qualified immunity to exist, which I have a major problem with, which I'm about to get into, but hypothetically, listen, you know, Senator, what did Mr. McConnell just say? What did he say about a week ago on camera? No, I'm not working with President Joe Biden. I'm not working with him. I don't give a damn. He gave the same speech he gave when President Barack Obama was in office, when he went on camera and said his number one goal was to make President Obama, a one-term president. And in essence, that's what he said this time. He said, I am not going to be working with this president. You can Google it. He was on camera. So he's telling you. What did Maya Angelou say? When a person shows you, and I'll modify and remix her quote. When a person shows you and tells you, and they tell you by their behavior and action, when a person shows you who they are, believe them, and believe them the first time they show you that. So, you know, Mitch McConnell, I had to catch myself. I didn't have to, but I did. But yeah, that dude, yeah, him, you already know that he is not going to do anything, even though his state, Kentucky, is one of the poorest states in America. They benefited a lot. They got those $1,400 checks. He didn't complain about that. He didn't send them back. He didn't tell President Biden, no, don't send any of that money to my constituents in Kentucky. He didn't say that. And all the extra benefits that parents are going to get, when it comes to not just child care, but the extra tax breaks and the extra money that parents will receive. That was a part of the bill that was passed back in January that allowed people to get the additional $1,400 in that survival check. So it made it a total of $2,000. So the bottom line is the Republicans are still going to vote against the bill, even if somehow you call yourself trying to compromise for bipartisanship. Show what the American people want? This bipartisan talk. That's like, we call it industry jargon. That's like inside baseball. That's language that politicians use and people in the media use. Do you think if you go in a barbershop, I guarantee you, I can take you in any barbershop here in the Low Country, your district, how many people will be like, yeah, well, Congressman Clyburn, yeah, I know qualified immunity, holding police accountable for excessive force, holding police officers accountable for murder, that's important. But I can hold off on that. We can wait on that. Because I really want this George Floyd Justice and Policing bill. I want it to be bipartisan. Man, listen, Congressman Clyburn, with all respect, man, the average person, they don't give a damn about bipartisanship. They want you and the other members, the 535 members of the House of Representatives and the 100 senators, to make their everyday lives better. And since Ronald Reagan, the Republicans have been talking about government is the enemy, and big government is the enemy, and we need to shrink government and shrink it small enough to drown it in a bathtub, and less government is more. So can the federal government fix each and every little problem for Americans? Not exactly, but they can make Americans' lives. There are certain things that only the federal government can do to improve the lives of everyday Americans, the everyday lives of hundreds of millions of Americans. There are certain things that only the federal government can do. And when it comes to protecting people that look like you and me and your daughter, or I don't know if you have any grandsons. I know you have a daughter. You got grandchildren to protect me, my daughters, my son-in-law, men that look like you and me. When it comes to at least maybe making some of these police officers think, because like I said, if I can't appeal to your humanity, we're right here in Charleston, South Carolina. All right, Michael Slager's in jail trying to basically get an appeal. He's trying to get out of jail for shooting Walter Scott here in your district, for shooting him in the back while Walter Scott was running away. And then they basically planted a taser near his dying body, dead body, to make it look like he tried to grab the officer's taser. Do you think somehow former police officers like Michael Slager or Derek Chauvin, who murdered George Floyd and was convicted of murder and manslaughter, do you think Timothy Loman, the police officer that murdered Tamir Rice, a baby, a 12-year-old baby, Jason Van Dyke, who is currently in jail, but shot Laquan McDonald 16 times while the kid was walking, skipping away from him with a little pocket knife, and he was walking away from Jason Van Dyke. And there were several other officers, and only Jason Van Dyke somehow feared for his life from a 16, 17-year-old kid that was skipping away from him and shot him 16 times. So do you think if you do not repeal qualified immunity, how can you truly hold police officers, and I'm going to use that term in quotes, because I always hear about the good police officers, and that, well, if you repeal qualified immunity, then it'll make police officers' job, they'll be, they'll think and they'll be hesitant to do their job. No, they won't. The bad ones, the killer cops, will think about it. Exactly, and that's what you want. I can make an argument that the good cops won't hesitate to continue to do good police work if you remove qualified immunity, because if they're doing the right things, they have body cameras and dash cameras. So they've got evidence. So if somebody makes a false accusation, show the body camera footage, show the dash cam video. So what do good officers have to fear from qualified immunity? Not a damn thing. The only police officers that fear the repeal of qualified immunity are the police officers like Jason Van Dyke, like Michael Slager here, like Derek Chauvin, the ones that will continue to murder and kill unarmed black men, women, and children, and brown men, women, and children, like we recently had in Chicago, Adam Toledo, and another Hispanic young man. It's going on, what happened to Breonna Taylor while she was sleeping. You mean to tell me that those police officers shouldn't be held accountable? This young woman was sleeping in her bed. A first responder that was out trying to save the lives of people who were contracting COVID-19. And these police with these no-knock warrants, and I know this part of the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act, but if I can't appeal to all these killer cops, and yes, you do have racist police officers, don't take my word for it, because that's not my opinion. That is the facts according to the FBI director. And reports that intelligence reports and reports from the FBI that we've been getting for about a decade, that said that white supremacist groups, white nationalist groups, right-wing white militia groups, hate groups, neo-Nazis, Boogaloo Boys, the Proud Boys, Oath Keepers, Three Percenters, that they for years have been making a concentrated effort to join the ranks and infiltrate local, county, state, federal law enforcement, and the military. Christopher Wray sat in front of Congress, you know this, last year, and it basically said the same thing. The biggest domestic terroristic threat is from white nationalists, white supremacist hate groups. All those groups I just mentioned. The biggest threat to the homeland, the biggest domestic terroristic threat is not Al-Qaeda, it's not ISIS, It ain't Antifa, and it damn sure isn't Black Lives Matter, because Black Lives Matter is a movement about trying to get police officers to stop murdering unarmed, innocent black men, women, and children. Said the biggest domestic terroristic threat was from these white hate groups and white militia hate groups, and white supremacists and white nationalist groups. Christopher Wray said that in front of Congress. So if I can't appeal to your sense of humanity, compassion, and empathy, if for whatever reason, just the pigmentation of my skin creates this sense of imminent fear and danger, that just the sight of the skin that I'm in causes you to be so afraid of me just because of the color of my skin, that you will just shoot me indiscriminately? You can't see my humanity because my pigmentation is darker than yours. So if you can't see my humanity, if you can't see my sense, if you don't have a sense of compassion and empathy, if I can't appeal to that, I can go dig into your pockets to at least help you see my humanity. And why should taxpayers, why should the city of Minneapolis have to use taxpayer money to pay the family of George Floyd? So that means George Floyd's family members who lived in Minneapolis, some of their own money was used to pay themselves for Derek Chauvin murdering their family member. Here in Charleston, South Carolina, here in North Charleston, Walter Scott's family, some of the money they received in the settlement came from their own taxpayer money. So Walter Scott's family basically was paid with some of their own. So they paid themselves. So the family of Walter Scott, in essence, helped pay themselves for Michael Slager murdering Walter Scott. That's crazy. Why should the taxpayers have to pay? Make the police officers and make the police unions go digging in their pockets. Because if you listen to Senator Tim Scott, well, you should maybe make the police departments. If you make the police departments pay, that's what's happening now in many cases. In Chicago, you sue the police of the city and the Chicago Police Department. You don't see the Fraternal Order of Police. You don't sue the Fraternal Order of Police or the individual officer. That's who you need to go after. You go digging in them pockets, I guarantee you, it might not stop. All these murders of unarmed black people might not stop, but I guarantee you it'll slow down. And if you make it to where not only the officer that engages in excessive force, you go after his pension, but any other officer on the scene that does not intervene, because they should have a duty to intervene if they see a fellow officer, even if it's a supervisor, engaging in excessive force or about to shoot and kill some unarmed black man, woman, or child. So we're not just going to dig in the shooter's pocket. The other officers that's right there on the scene, I guarantee you that'll be a wake-up call, and it will stop, or it'll definitely slow down dramatically, because nothing else is working. Apparently, too many of these police officers cannot see the humanity in me and people that look like me. And unfortunately, too many of the good police officers, and there are some, I know a significant number, in all the cities that I've worked in, here in the Charleston metropolitan area, in Chicago, in Detroit. I remember I was good friends with the police chief. He just passed away recently, the late Benny Napoleon, rest in peace, power in paradise. He was a good brother. And I remember Benny Napoleon. In other cities. But apparently too many of the good police officers, for whatever reason, for fear of retaliation or being isolated, they don't speak out enough. They don't check. They don't intervene. Well, you need to make it easy for them to intervene or give them some type of incentive. And unfortunately in America, one of the best incentives is money. Sometimes Too many times, the only way to get somebody to do the right thing is to threaten their income, to threaten to take money out of their pockets is the only way to get some people's attention and to get them to do the right thing. So Representative Clyburn, I absolutely disagree with you. I would love to have this conversation. And I know you said that, I'm paraphrasing, don't let perfect be the enemy of the good. In most cases, I agree. But my counter argument, I would say to you that any supposed George Floyd Justice in Policing Act wouldn't be any type of justice in police. You wouldn't get any justice in policing without qualified immunity as a part of that law. The last thing I want to say to you, Congressman Clyburn, I hope that you talk to the family of George Floyd. I know you've spoken to the family in the past of Walter Scott, Dante Wright, Tamir. Talk to Tamir Rice's mom. She's still heartbroken. She lost her baby. He was a kid, 12 years old. He was murdered the same year my youngest daughter, Allie, was 12 years old. I think that's why it really resonates with me. He was a baby. Talk to the family. Talk to George Floyd's daughter, Gianna, who said, my daddy's gonna change the world. But Gianna, you were right. Your daddy is gonna change the world. Congressman Clyburn and all the rest of the senators, because the bill's been passed in the House. I understand, Congressman Clyburn, but you have a lot of power. You got a lot of weight. President Biden wouldn't be President Biden if you didn't co-sign for him right here in the state of South Carolina. You carry a lot of power. You got a lot of clout. You carry a lot of weight. When you speak, people listen. I listened, and that's why I'm doing this special commentary for my monologue today. Because people listen, and you cannot have any kind of justice in policing without removing qualified immunity. I want to urge everybody, if you feel the same way I do, I want you to contact Congressman Clyburn's office in D.C. at 202-225-3315. 202-225-3315. 202-225-3315. You can contact his office. He has an office here in the state of South Carolina, up in Columbia. You can call that number. It's 803 area code 799-1100. 803-799-1100. 803-799-1100. All right. Shout out to Zach in Congressman Clyburn's office up in Washington, D.C. I had a great conversation. Basically, he got my monologue. So he basically got the speech. It was like a dress rehearsal. That was not my intention. But Zach was very patient, and he allowed me to go on and on and on and on and on. So you've got a great staff, and I just want to shout out Zach, and I just want to let you know, Congressman Clyburn, that you've done a great job in terms of hiring your staff, because Zach is a very impressive, patient, respectful young man. So, and it was a pleasure to talk to him. And it was a pleasure and an honor every time I get a chance to talk to you, Congressman Clyburn. You know, my mother, who I got a chance to see via video call yesterday. Happy Mother's Day again to my mom and all the other mothers. My mother and my late grandmother, who I'm named after, Jean Jones. Actually, Jean Rayford Jones. That's really it. That was her maiden name, was Rayford. Rest in peace, power in paradise, Mom. Happy Heavenly Mother's Day to you too. She would say, teeth and tongue fall out, Jeannie. Teeth and tongue fall out, and they share the same mouth. So yes, Congressman Clyburn, we share, for the most part, we share the same worldview. We share the same commitment and passion for justice and for our community. You put in the work, you've got the receipts. And I will always honor and respect that. But I believe in speaking truth to power, no matter who it is. And I was taught that. I was raised that way by my grandparents and my mother. And you could do it in a respectful way, but always never be afraid to speak truth to power, because they would say, Jeannie, the truth never needs no defense. You only have to defend a lie, but the truth needs no defense. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life. As always, God bless each and every one of you. God, most of all, thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Daily Variety Show right here Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, here in the Carolinas, here in the Charleston, South Carolina metro area. All right. So if you would like, please like, share, and subscribe. Once again, like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's how you spell Geno Jones, with a G-E, Jones, J-O-N-E-S. If you would like to be a sponsor on the show, I would be honored to have you as a sponsor. If you would like to advertise on my channel, I'd be honored to have you advertise. If you are looking for the ultimate pitch man for your company, your business, your product, your goods, or your services, I am the king, not the king, the king of pitchmen. Holla at your boy. Reach out to me right here. You leave me a message here on my YouTube channel, or you can email me, GenoJonesShow@gmail. GenoJonesShow@gmail. Shout out to Mr. Bruce Gage, the official wardrobe consultant and stylist for the Geno Jones Show. Check him out on IG, Instagram. Just do a search. Search Bruce Gage, G-A-G-E. Also, check out flyballthestore.com. flyballthestore.com. And shout out to Mr. Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show. Check him out on Instagram, on IG. Kelby Cuttin, K-E-L-B-E-C-U-T-T-I-N. Thank you to each and every one of you. Thank you for watching. Once again, I hope all the mothers and the grandmothers and the mothers-to-be and all the heavenly mothers and grandmothers who are smiling and looking at us from above up in heaven. Happy Heavenly Mother's Day to my grandmother, Jean Jones, and all the other grandmothers and mothers up there in heaven, looking at us, watching over us, covering us, and smiling at us. I want to thank each and every one of you so much for watching. God bless each and every one of you. God, most of all, thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Daily Variety Show. Tomorrow, Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, live. I love you, each and every one of you. I really do. I love you. And thank you for watching. Mother, you know I love you too, of course, more than life itself. And until tomorrow, next time, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, live, the Geno Jones Show. Yes, sir. We're doing the thing, baby. Until tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and be blessed.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.